Right. I had a teacher, his name was Rabbi Mendel. Here's a picture of him. He was a very special person, and he was in Siberia for like 7 years at hard labor. See, the glass covering sort of reflects. Anyway, there he is. So he passed away about 30 years ago, or it's about 30 years ago, even though it seems like yesterday. So he told me several stories. And one of the stories that he told me was that when he was in Siberia, so his wife would send him packages of cigarettes. And these packages of cigarettes, it was forbidden for the guards to steal. I don't know exactly what the laws were, but there were very strict regulations, and if the guards didn't adhere to the regulations, it could be that they would forfeit their job, maybe even their life. So anyway, his wife used to send him cigarettes, and these cigarettes he used to exchange for food because he didn't want to eat the food that they had there. Okay, so that's one story. I'll tell you one story about that. I have two stories about that, and I'll tell you one now. One of the stories is that before Passover, his wife used to send him a box of matzah. Matzah. Now, matzah has to be made very stringent. There's very stringent details of how to make matzah. And a lot of people put extra stringencies because Passover, even a little tiny bit of chametz, of what's called, leavened bread, a little tiny bit it's a terrible sin to eat. Makes no sense whatsoever. But if you have a huge pot of cholent, let's say 1,000 gallons of cholent, and someone on Passover somebody throws in one small crumb of bread, the whole thing is forbidden. You can't eat it. And if you eat it, it's a terrible sin. So people are very, very careful. Okay, so his wife sent him matzot, which were made according to all of the stringencies which Chabad has taken on themselves. Other groups have their own stringencies, but Chabad has theirs. But it didn't reach him, didn't come to him. The matzahs didn't arrive. And the whole package didn't arrive. So because the whole package didn't arrive, so he had no matzahs and he had no cigarettes that he could exchange for food. So the little bit of food, what he had, he get. He saved away. I guess it was pretty. In any case, the whole Passover, he told me that he didn't eat anything. He just drank water, and there was sugar, and he had water and sugar. Maybe somehow or other he got something because the laws are very stringent on Passover. So he didn't. The whole Passover, 7 days. He drank. So when Passover finished, the package arrived. It seems that the guards held it back, whatever, they had excuses. This is what he told me. He said that after that, it was such a traumatic experience that he didn't have any matzah for 7 days, didn't have any matzah to do the night of the Passover meal, didn't have any matzah. It could be that he had other things. Maybe he had raw potatoes or something like that. That the whole time he was there, he kept a matzah in his pocket. The whole entire time he was there, he kept one kazayas of matzah in his pocket. Let me just delay. So Rabbi Mendel told me that he took a piece of matzah, a kazayas, whatever, a piece of matzah, and he wrapped it up in newspaper and he put it in his pocket and he carried it with him the whole time he was in Siberia. I don't know which year this story occurred, but let's say that it occurred the last year that he was there. So for 1 full year, he carried around a piece of matzah in his pocket when he went into the bathroom, no matter where he was, because he was so traumatized by the fact that he did not have matzah for the night of the Passover meal. In other words, what does it mean? Matzah is so important because it's called the food of faith. It puts into us an awareness that God is above our understanding and his good of God is also above understanding. And that is achieved by eating matzah. And therefore, he was matzah on Passover. It has to be matzah the first night of Passover when it's a commandment. And therefore, he was traumatized by the fact that he did not have this matzah, as religious as he was and as devoted as he was. But there's no end to how connected we can be to God, and matzah does it. So he carried around in his pocket. It's called matzah. It's called the food of faith. It's called Michael de Mamanuta. It's called. So he carried it around in his pocket for one full year, or for maybe more. I don't know which year this story occurred. He carried it on his pocket, and when the next year came, so it must have been more than 1 year, because he said when the next year came, as he got rid of that matzah and he transformed it to new matzah, he put new matzah. So he always had it with him all the time. Have a good day with Mashiach now. Sorry for the delays.